You won't believe what happened the night she said those words to him. The way she looked into his eyes, half guilty, half distant, as if she had already made her choice. It was the kind of moment that slices through a man's heart in silence before the pain even begins. He sat there frozen, listening to the woman he had built a life with, the woman he thought he knew, calmly telling him she was going to spend a night with someone else. She didn't whisper. She didn't tremble. Her voice was firm, but it carried a strange mix of excitement and sorrow. He wanted to believe it was a sick joke. He wanted to laugh it off, shake his head, and tell her to stop playing games. But her eyes said it all. She wasn't joking. She wasn't testing him. She was serious. Just one night, she said, as if those words could soften the betrayal. As if the idea of a dream man she had held in her mind for years could excuse the fact that she was about to walk out the door, leaving behind the man who had shared her mornings, her dinners, her secrets, and her silences. He sat in shock, words dying on his tongue. His chest felt heavy, as though someone had taken the air out of the room. The house they had built together suddenly felt like it was collapsing, even though the walls stood steady. When she reached for her bag, his heart sank deeper. This wasn't just a thought. This wasn't just talk. She had packed. She was ready. Every fold in her clothes, every zipped compartment, every quiet step toward the door screamed finality. He whispered her name, voice shaking, but she didn't turn. She just paused at the door, her hand on the knob, her back to him. Don't wait up, she said softly, almost as if she was doing him a favor by sparing him the sight of her leaving. And then, she was gone. The sound of the door closing was louder than any slam. It was the sound of trust breaking, the sound of years unraveling in an instant. He sat there in silence, staring at the empty space where she had stood, his body numb, his mind racing. He kept telling himself it couldn't be real. He tried to stand, but his legs felt weak. He looked around the house, the photos on the walls, the little decorations she had chosen, the faint scent of her perfume still lingering in the air, and for the first time, it all felt foreign. Minutes turned into hours. He didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. Every time he closed his eyes, he pictured her with him, this so-called dream man, laughing, whispering, touching. The images tore him apart. He clenched his fists, his jaw tight, his heart pounding with a mix of rage and despair. But even in his anger, there was a part of him that still hoped that she would walk back through that door, drop her bag, and say she had made a mistake, hoped that she would realize the gravity of what she was doing before it was too late. But the hours passed, and she didn't come home. The sun rose, painting the sky with soft orange, but his world felt darker than ever. He sat by the window, watching the light creep into the room, and with every ray of sunlight, the reality hit harder. She was gone, and she had chosen to be. When the door finally opened the next morning, he looked up quickly, heart leaping, as if by some miracle things might return to normal. But when she walked in, he saw it in her eyes. Something had changed. She looked tired, her hair messy, her steps slow. But more than that, there was a strange calmness on her face. She dropped her bag, glanced at him, sitting silently in the chair, and for a moment, their eyes met. He searched for guilt, for regret, for something that would tell him she wished she hadn't gone. But what he saw instead broke him even more. Satisfaction. Not the kind of satisfaction one feels after a day well spent, but the subtle glow of someone who had chased something forbidden and tasted it. She didn't say sorry. She didn't explain. She just muttered, "I told you it was just one night," as if that was enough to erase the damage, as if a single sentence could heal the crack she had carved into his heart. He wanted to scream. He wanted to demand answers, to throw questions at her, until she shattered under the weight of them. But instead, he sat in silence. Because in that silence, he realized something. It wasn't about the night. It wasn't about that one man. It was about her choice. She had chosen her desire over their vows. She had chosen her fantasy over their reality. She had chosen herself over them. That realization hit him harder than her words ever could. The days that followed were unbearable. He tried to function, tried to eat, tried to sleep, but everything reminded him of her betrayal. The smell of coffee in the morning reminded him of their shared breakfasts. The empty spot on the bed reminded him of the warmth she used to bring. Even the sound of the television in the evening echoed with memories of her laughter. But what haunted him most wasn't what she did, it was how easily she returned. As though nothing had happened, she carried on with her routines, humming softly as she cooked, folding laundry, scrolling through her phone, and every time he looked at her, he saw a stranger. Yet, he also saw the woman he loved. That was the cruelest part. His heart was torn between rage and longing. He hated her for what she had done, but he couldn't deny the love that still lived in him, stubborn and raw, and she knew it. She knew he still loved her, and she leaned on that love, using it as a shield, as if it would protect her from the consequences of her betrayal. But love, he realized, cannot survive without respect. One evening, he finally spoke. His voice was quiet, steady, but heavy with the weight of days of silence. "Do you feel proud of what you did?" he asked. She looked at him, startled by the question, and then looked away. "I don't regret it," she admitted softly. "It was something I wanted for myself, just once." Those words pierced him deeper than the act itself. No regret, no shame, no acknowledgement of the pain she had caused. That night, as she slept beside him, he lay awake, staring at the ceiling, tears burning in his eyes, and in that silence, he made a decision. He would not beg, he would not fight for someone who chose to leave him in such a way. He would not cling to a love that had already been broken beyond repair. The next morning, he packed his own bag. He didn't slam doors. He didn't shout. He just quietly gathered his things, piece by piece. And when she woke up and saw him by the door, she froze. "Where are you going?" she asked, her voice trembling for the first time. He looked at her, his eyes red but steady. "You had your dream night. Now I'm going to find the life I deserve." Her lips parted, as if she wanted to speak, but no words came. For the first time, she looked uncertain. For the first time, she looked afraid. He walked out, leaving behind not just the house, not just the marriage, but the man he had been, the man who tolerated betrayal in the name of love. And as the door closed behind him, he felt something he hadn't felt in days. Freedom. Watch till the end, because sometimes the hardest goodbye is the first step to a stronger tomorrow.